Trust and obey, even when you don't know how things are going to work out. And this bottom line, this main point really applies to our story today because we look at the life of Abraham, who has not been able to have any children whatsoever, but he trusted and obeyed because God promised him that he would have a son, and his son would be the start of many, many descendants, and that he would have so many descendants that you couldn't even count the stars. There's so many descendants there, so many children upon children upon children. But at a very old age, he didn't have any, and he had none. And him and Sarah were very old, and they didn't have any children, but they trusted and obeyed, even though they didn't know how it was going to work out. Well, what I want you to do right now is to pause the video real quick, read this short story, and see what happened because Abraham and Sarah trusted and obeyed, and what the blessing was because of that, okay? So pause the video right now, press play when you're done reading the story and answering the questions, and we'll go from there. Okay, Abraham trusted and obeyed. He had no idea how God was going to make this work, but he trusted and obeyed. And because he trusted and obeyed, God blessed him in a mighty, mighty way. So the bottom line for today is trust and obey even if you don't know how it will work out. The reality is when we are trusting and obeying God, we're not going to know how things are going to play out. We have to trust that God knows the bigger plan, the bigger picture. All we have to do is obey. Trust him and obey. So I want to encourage you today to trust and obey God and see how it works out for you. We may not know for many years what that will lead to, but if you trust and obey, it's going to lead to good things down the road. So my encouragement again is to trust and obey even if you don't know how things are going to work out. So that is the challenge as we kind of wrap up this series on trusting and obeying God. Hey, I also want to look over the memory verse that we've been looking at for the past few weeks. 2 John 6. The way we show our love is to obey God's commands. He commands you to lead a life of love. That's what you've heard from the beginning. God calls us to lead a life of love. Okay? And one of the ways that we can demonstrate our love for God and our trust and obedience of God is to obey his commands. So love God, trust and obey, and see how he works it out, even when you don't know how it's going to all play out. The more you can trust and obey God, the more you can see the blessings that God has, just like what Abraham and Sarah experienced by trusting and obeying God in regards to the birth of Isaac. So that's the encouragement, that's the challenge. So I hope you're able to trust and obey God today and this week and see what he blesses you with down the road. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for joining me for this story, and join me next week as we have a whole new story. Have a great week, everyone.